Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast.
What up, what up, what up?
Hello, everybody. Wait, I hear some echo. I hear a little echo in here. Is that you, Pedro?
I think we're good now.
Okay. What's going on, everybody? Finally, yesterday was going to be the beginning of the show, but we realized, it was the third game of the NBA Finals. And also, I forgot to enable live streaming for this channel. So I decided to delay it basically 24 hours. But we're here. I'm Hannibal, and I'm with the St. Louis's own Mr. Bet on You.
What up, what up?
Big P, as I call him now. Pedro, how are you doing, my friend?
Well, since Boston won yesterday, I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I guess we would get right into it, goddammit. So I decided to start another business venture, right? I decided to start my new life as a degenerate gambler. I put $50 before the series began. I put $50 on the Warriors to win the series because I thought 3-pointers, Stephen Curry, it's going to happen, right? Like the Celtics were great, but they've been going some back and forth. They lost some games that they should have won. So I was like, yeah, man, they got Clay. They've been here before. And I forgot, I saw something. There was some kind of stat. I don't know. It was probably on ESPN saying Celtics has 80-something% chance of winning the series. And I'm like, the hell ESPN knows. I'm gonna put this $50 bet. And they lost yesterday, and I don't feel too good about it. So Pedro, you actually told me this before the game started. They're gonna win big. So obviously you know what you're doing. Tell me what your thoughts are on my bet. Do you think I'm going to win this bet outright?
Well, it's only been 3 games, so I think if the Warriors would come back and win, I wouldn't be surprised. But to me, the Celtics are a deeper team. They're more athletic. They play better defense overall a little bit. I think that makes a difference because I think offensively they balance each other out. Curry's having a great series. He's really having a great series. Like what he's doing is not even talked about enough. But Clay's too inconsistent. Draymond Green is extremely overrated, in my opinion. And I think the Celtics are a better team overall. So that's why I had them going in. So,
but you know what? So far, you've been like the Nostradamus. Basically, usually what you said actually is been occurring. Like Pedro, before every game, he texts me. He's like, hey, listen, I already got the scoop.
This is what's going to happen.
Yep. Yeah, this is going to happen. So far, so good. And before we continue, we'll say hi to everybody that's in the chat. We see everyone. We see some new faces. I see some regular faces. See John McCain. I was in another live stream just a couple minutes ago. He was in that one. Now he's in this one. Appreciate everyone that came in. And you know what? I'm going to put this one up right here real quick. Draymond Green is overrated as
facts.
No. Okay.
Facts.
All right. Draymond he's important for a lot of reasons, right? Like there's things that he's doing that's not necessarily going to be on any kind of like stat. He has a level of aggression that no other light skins in the team have. He has a level of aggression. He don't have it. Like
you're right.
Curry doesn't invoke that kind of aggression. Clay doesn't. They just shoot threes. But Draymond can't shoot. His that angle, it looks like he's trying to shoot a dart. Like he takes a 3 and I'm like, please don't know. Like his offensive game is such a liability.
It's putrid, yeah. He is a very smart basketball player. He can do a lot of things pretty well. He's good defensively, really good passer, excellent screener. He sees plays before they happen. He's very his basketball savvy and his intellect is next level. Like he's very good. Offensively, he is an extreme liability. And I look back to even 2016 when he had so many technical fouls that he missed game 5. He got so many technical fouls throughout the playoffs that he missed game 5 and that allowed LeBron to, they won game 5, LeBron won game 6, LeBron.
That was like the excuse every Warriors fan said. Well, if Draymond was in that game, that may or not happen.
It may not have, but I think he's, you know, the interesting thing about the Golden State Warriors and Draymond Green specifically is he was a really, really good basketball player at Michigan State. I mean, he's a great basketball player, but in the NBA, these guys got into a perfect situation. You know, Draymond Green's on a perfect team with 2 of the all-time best shooters, 2 of the top 5, in my opinion, best shooters of the history of basketball on the same team at the same time. And he happens to be a catalyst to that. So he's riding the coattails of the light skins, right? That's what he's doing, as you call it. He's riding their coattails, and he owes everything. Mix of
players, right?
It's a good mix. They drafted well, but he's extremely overrated. I do like Draymond as an analyst. His podcast is next level. I do like him there, but watching him play basketball sometimes it's very hard to watch because I think he thinks he's a little better than he is, and he's not. To me, he's not. He's smart, but yesterday was one of the worst games I've seen a professional athlete play. He had 2 points. He played 35 minutes. He had 2 points. I think he had 5 assists, 5 fouls, and 4 rebounds, and he played 34 minutes.
Yeah.
Right now, I could probably get 2 points in an NBA game. If somebody fouled me, I could get 2 free throws and go sit down. Yeah, I couldn't score on anybody.
He is like, people forget, like Dennis Rodman and when he played in the Pistons, he could score.
Yeah,
he just decided I don't want to care about that. I'm just going to defend and have 20 rebounds and a lot of other like really like known defensive, even like the bad boys or even. Like at Knicks, and I know I'm gonna bring up the Knicks a lot, guys. I'm sorry. I live here in New York City. But back in the 90s, they had a dude named Charles Oakley, and he had a better shot than Draymond. And Charles Oakley would beat up anybody physically. Like people were scared of Charles Oakley, but he had a better jump shot than Draymond. Draymond is like his arm broke, and then like it healed wrong, and then like it's somebody actually put in a comment who had a worse looking shot, Sean Merriman or Draymond.
Well, Marion, he would actually make shots though, and I think with Draymond, he's not being aggressive enough. So when I say offensive liability, he's literally if you watch those games, he's not even looking to shoot. So when the other team knows that, then you're playing a good defensive team like Boston has 5 defenders. They only got to guard 4 dudes, and they know
he's
that.
Not confident like that. He'll have the ball at the top of the key. And they already know he's going to pass the ball. And then sometimes he'll shoot it, and they know it's going to hit everything but inside the net.
Yeah. I mean, Steph Curry's carrying him. Steph Curry played phenomenal. Yeah. Yesterday and the other 2 games. So he's been lights out. It's almost like when he misses, you're some more surprised than when he makes it, and that's extremely rare for a guy that shoots 3-pointers. He's shooting at such a high pace right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like you said. It's only 3 games. Things change. They may get, Celtics may get blown out. They may get blown out because that's how it is now in the NBA playoffs. It's once a team gets really, really hot, they're like, all right, F it, we'll try next game. Like, all right, just take one out. We'll try next game. We'll get blown out by 20, 30. I don't feel too good about it. I think, especially if Marcus Smart is going to get 20 points, over 20 points a game, you're not going to win, right? Because Tatum is going to get his. Jaylen Brown's going to get his. But if Marcus Smart is hitting 3-pointers and looking fly and also defending you, I don't see them winning. You can't have those 3 hot. It just doesn't work. So I don't know. That $50 is probably burnt.
I mean, next time, you just need to text me. Hey, Pedro, what bet you place, and then I'll take care of you. It'll be good.
I see you play some bets as well, right?
I placed one yesterday and I did pretty well. Yeah.
All right.
Because I saw the writing on the wall. Yeah.
You know what? Well, this is the NBA finals, so it's going to be, but a whole year of this show, maybe you could drop some picks, some NBA picks, Pedro's picks.
Sure. Yeah.
Then get mad with you when they don't win. Actually, I don't know if you want to do that. Because people are like, I bet this money, Pedro. You're not low. Because that's the thing about betting. Like I started it with the end of the NFL season a little bit. And when you win, you feel fantastic. You feel great. Sure. And sometimes you get too overconfident. Start betting more.
Listen, Hannibal, betting games is not a side hustle or income, whatever you just said you're trying to start, proceed with caution. Okay.
Okay. So it's not, okay. We're not going to talk about gig work,
Yeah,
but you're saying, that kind of stuff is not. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. But, so what is your pick? Who's going to win game 4?
I got the Celtics game 4. I have the Warriors game 5. And I think game 6 could go either way. But I initially said Boston in 7 because I think they've been a good road team. I could see them winning game 7 in Golden State. But now I think they might win in game 6. So I think Boston's ready. I think a lot happens with Steph, how healthy he is. I know he said he's going to be okay, but if he's not 100%, that team has no chance. Even, they literally, without Steph Curry, if he's not 100%, they have no chance at all. Because even if Thompson, he had a bounce back game. I thought he played really good yesterday. They got nobody else that can score. Wiggins is a complimentary. He's not a main guy. I think the Celtics got Brown and Tatum. To me, that tandem is just too much to overcome, I think so.
I see a comment I want to respond to, and Paige, if you want, just jump right in as well. Basketball has seriously changed from Al J. Centers shooting threes instead of being under the, the hole, obviously under the hole for the dunk or hook shot. Yeah, you way old school. I'm old school and I love the old school. Now we're both old as well, right? How do you the threes get out of hand sometimes? I was like, yeah, they're gonna shoot that 3. Yeah, they're gonna. There's a very rare that you'll see a big go towards the basket, post up, and it's like, give me the ball. Like, I don't like that Shaq. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go with the Knicks again. Patrick Ewing is like, yo, I'm back. Hey, pass the ball. And then he does his thing. He may get doubled, then he passed out. It's just launch to threes and you win and die by it, right? You could lose a game or win a game by the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
And it's just a different game. I mean, what's your thoughts? Have you enjoyed basketball more than the 90s? It's the same. Like,
I'm never going to say I enjoy it now more than the 90s because I'm a Chicago boy. So in the 90s, the Bulls won 6 championships. So that's the pinnacle, right? That it doesn't get better than that, right? But for me, I think we have to understand basketball has always evolved. So, do I want to watch? I don't mind watching games if the threes are, analytics has taken over every sport, not just basketball. So analytically, these guys, if they're shooting a high percentage from 3, it's a better shot than some of the 2-pointers, right? So, or even driving to the lane. And I think it actually makes for a better pace of a game because the more times you have, you think about Patrick Ewing sweating on the foul line, right? Yeah, I love Patrick Ewing, but I don't want to see a guy shoot free throws. I want a fast game. I want the pace. And when you have guys actually driving and maybe dunking, which we have that, and you got the threes, you're going to have fast breaks. It's going to make for a more enjoyable game. I'm not really for the, back to the basket. Like, I think we have to understand also that these kids growing up in AAU ball, everything's being coached. That's where it starts. So you got these stretch 5s, like the commenter said, all the 5s and the 4s can shoot threes because I have to be able to do that in order to get into the league. Right. Yeah. That's just the way the game has evolved. And Steph Curry has a lot to do with that, because he's not a big, but he's a 3-ball shooter and he's changed the game quite a bit. I'm fine with it. I think right now I'm an old school guy because of MJ and stuff. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of really, really great talented basketball players in today's NBA. And I think we need to give them a little more credit than we do. I think, there's some great ballers out here. And, you think about back in the 90s, there was a lot of good ones as well. But the rules have changed. You can't hand check anymore. You used to be able to hand check back in the day. So the game's just different. Yeah. I mean, it's like talking baseball. If you're talking Babe Ruth, or do you like Babe Ruth or do you like Mike Trout? Like, it's a different game. Like, you can't compare the two. So
one thing that I have noticed, and we could transition to the next topic, is the way the game is covered by the media. I don't remember this happening in the 90s. Maybe it did with maybe some news, probably some writers, some newspapers, or some sports talk radio was more provocative, like maybe. But the way that, and we're talking about Stephen A. Smith, Skip and Shannon, Nick Wright, Kendrick Perkins. I think I put him in there now.
Colin
JJ Redick.
JJ Redick, yeah.
The way they communicate and the way they talk, it obviously helps the game because they will say something so outrageous, such a hot take. What happened to the other guy? They kicked him off the ESPN. Ryan, like he just had the worst takes. I think they just
Hollins. He was an ex-player, but he said a few things that were like ridiculous. Yeah, he compared. I think. He had a couple bad takes. Yeah, he had a couple bad takes. Yeah,
but the way sometimes they come across very. I would say a little disrespectful of how they speak about professional athletes. But I could be, that's why I'm asking you. Sometimes the way the basketball player, the athlete responds to it, it seems like it's always the target of, well, I can't believe what Kevin Durant said. But it's like the way Stephen A. Smith saying, it was APB out on a player. He didn't show up. He should be embarrassed of himself. A lot of stuff that's for TV, for entertainment, because I don't look at Stephen A. Smith as a journalist anymore. I think he stopped writing and he stopped being a journalist a long time ago. He is an entertainer.
He's a personality. Yeah.
Where Skip says, I trust Clay more than Curry. Like, just saying outrageous stuff. Either you're a LeBron lover or a LeBron hater, the Skip is. Does that help the game? And as an athlete, should you even respond to this stuff or ignore it? I know a lot of athletes want to respond. Like, what's your thoughts on this situation?
It's tough, man. I think we've always kind of had this, like you mentioned, the newspapers. And I remember the guy Jim Rome. Jim Rome back in the early 2000s? He was kind of a personality.
I think he's still doing
Colin Cowherd's still doing this thing. But I think that Stephen A. is a personality. I do respect him in some regards because he's built up his brand and, he's not afraid to say his mind. He'll go at guys. I think he's articulate. He's well-spoken, but at the end of the day, like, we have to understand, he's just the face of the ESPN. So like, he's a personality, right? What I think is we need to have the commentators like that. We need it because we need to have people asking questions from a different perspective, right? Because they're a fan too. Stephen A. Smith's a big Philadelphia Sixers fan. He was a beat writer for the Sixers back in the day. He's been in the sports media for like almost 30 years, I think. So, he knows what he's talking about a little bit,
right? But
like, we got to understand he's a personality. So for me, what I like is these new younger, like JJ Redick, CJ McCollum, Kendrick Perkins, some of these guys, I really enjoy their intake, their takes, because they just recently kind of played. So they understand the dynamic there, but then they're really good analysts, right? And they can break the game down in a way that Stephen A. and Skip and those guys can't do it because they didn't play at that level.
Yeah.
So I think we're at this time right now. Draymond Green has a podcast, and even if you look at like NFL, right, the people that are going in the booth now are ex-players, right? So Tony Romo for CBS. He does a fantastic job calling games because he has that quarterback mind. So we don't have John Madden and some Pat Summerall, some old guys talking about, and they never played before. We're getting this crop of these guys that played. So for me, it's fun to watch and listen to them because their perspective is very different. They're talking from a place of experience versus a place of an opinion. And I think we have you mentioned Kevin Durant. For me, he's a little soft. Like, he's a little sensitive. He gets, he takes everything. He's got burner Twitter accounts. Like, he does a little too much, in my opinion. But I do like having like Draymond Green's podcast. Like I said earlier, I think it's really good. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's challenging the old head narrative of how athletes should be talked to and, stuff like that. And I think that's good. I think that's the way it's going. I think athletes are kind of taking some of that power back a little bit. And I think that's good. But we need Stephen A. Smith and those guys because you got to have both. You can't just have, you got to have an outsider also questioning some things. Because sometimes when he says something or he has a hot take, it actually makes sense. Like, he's actually, he got some valid points that he makes, I think.
Yeah. I guess my concern, or at least my thought, sometimes I feel like even the sports commentators can get a little personal, and they sound like fans sometimes, where they should be more of a professional like look. And you can still explain things without necessarily being hyperbolic, or like that's something the fans do when you go to the park, right? Or you go to a cookout, or you go into like the barbershop and you talk about basketball. Those opinions are going to be over the top. Yeah, Kevin Durant's a bum ass. Like you say those things, but the way Skip comes out or Stephen A. sometimes it's like you're like, would you say this to their face? Because you come across a little off. And I know Stephen A. has like this persona, like they got my number, they can contact me. Like, all right, bro.
It sounded just like him when he said that. Too.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's from Queens, but I'm not from Queens. But the same idea is like, all right, bro. This your aggressive tone would not be there if you was you're 50 some years old. Like, calm down a little bit. But I know, like you said, it's all about entertainment. I was going to ask someone to actually put in a comment about Patrick Beverly. Like, what's
Patrick Beverly? He's Patrick Beverly.
And he's currently he plays in the league. So I was like, the first time I saw a little bit of his clips is the way he was just attacking Chris Paul. It's like
he's a little delusional because he's a extreme role player. And listen, anybody in the NBA, even the guy at the end of the bench, is extremely talented, right? Yeah. And so is he. He plays major minutes, and he's a good player. But like, don't talk about Chris Paul. You're not even a tenth of his level, right? You're not going to the Hall of Fame. Chris Paul is, So I just think Patrick Beverly is another one of those guys. It's just he does a little too much for me. But I didn't want to miss this comment from my man John. Malika Andrews is fine as hell. She got my vote. Listen, Malika Andrews is the best looking woman on TV right now, hands down. John, I agree with you.
She's likable too. She does a great job too. Yeah, I don't like Richard Jefferson. I don't know, maybe because he played for the Nets for a while and he was a little annoying. He's a
light skin.
It could be that too, but he thinks he's smarter than everybody else. Like it's just a little, it's tone. I don't know what it is, but I would at least say that the dynamic between him, and Kendrick, they got a good team going. Like it's a good, like you said, progression of, and Kendrick. Every time Kendrick says something kind of off, someone like on Twitter will put his like low life clips of him passing the ball to I don't know who, and then Kevin dunked on. Looking at him like, "What are you doing?" He definitely got an NBA because he was a big giant dude. But apparently, I think it's high school or college, he put up like crazy numbers.
Yeah, anybody in the NBA is. There's a thing, Brian Scalabrine. I don't know if you remember him.
White Mamba.
White Mamba. So his take is, I'm closer to LeBron than anybody is to him.
Yeah.
And he's probably, we got to understand these guys. Like, we could clown Kendrick Perkins is a bum. No, he's not a bum. He's an NBA player, and he started and he won a championship. So he's a bum, and maybe if you compare him to LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, but everybody's a bum compared to those kind of guys, right? So
that's why I'm saying the idea that some of the commentators are just a little over the top. Like, that's what we should be saying. We're fans. We're not professionals. We're going to say outrageous things because we don't have the time to research all the stats. We don't have, like, that's not our job. Like, that's their job. But to get the viral, like, posts and stuff, they will just say some ridiculous stuff. Yeah. And I think that's why I have a problem with it. But also, it just gets the clicks and views. Now, I don't watch full episodes of First Take. I don't watch full episodes.
Neither do I. Yeah, I watch it on YouTube. Yeah,
exactly. And get the clip and then like, all right, let me watch this and see what they have to say. Because I can't sit there an hour and a half of like Skip and Shannon. Every episode, they disagree on every topic. How's that possible?
Yeah, I'm not a big Skip Bayless fan at all. I've never have been. Him and Jalen Rose went back at it, years ago. And Jalen Rose got him so good. Yeah. I'm a big Jalen Rose fan, by the way, too. But I think he does phenomenal work. And he has a podcast too with the one guy. Like, anyways. So, but yeah, Skip Bayless is a little much for me. Shannon, he's a personality too. I think we got to realize these guys are, clicks and views. They want ratings, and I think that, that's what it is. And I like that we have a guy like JJ Redick, like he knows what he's talking about. And
he be giving it to Stephen A. I've seen
giving it, and I think it makes for great TV. I think Stephen respects that, and I think it's good that we got some of these current or freshly retired guys giving their perspective on the game and in a way that the other guys couldn't really do. So
yeah. and I'll still defend the other side a little bit. Like, if you spend decades following the game in a close and very intimate way, you have some insights as well because you can compare different eras. You can kind of do that, but as much as I don't think Westbrook is no longer a good player anymore. I'm not saying you don't have to call him Westbrook or whatever. Like, I get the comments, but I don't know. As a professional media, and you're not doing entertainment, but I guess like you said, they all do entertainment. Calling him Westbrook, like, is that a professional take? You know what I mean? Like, I understand it's an entertainment venue, I guess, platform.
It is. I think it's hard for me to feel bad for a guy making $45 million a year. So you could call me anything you want. You want to pay, and I'm playing a professional sport I love. It makes Westbrook. It's catchy. We're talking about it now. Russell Westbrook's a Hall of Famer though. So I just wish some of these athletes had a little more toughness. Sometimes I think I look at guys like him and KD. Him and KD had their thing. Guys like Patrick Beverly or guys like James Harden or Ben Simmons. I wish they just had a little more like Giannis or Jordan or Kobe in them. Guys are just like, you know what? I don't care what anybody says around me. I'm going to win. I'm going to train. I'm going to do, they just care a little bit too much. I think it's maybe a different generation, obviously, right? Maybe that has something to do with it. But I just wish they would stop listening to the noise as much and just focus on the game because these guys are all super talented guys. There's no reason James Harden should have fallen off the cliff like he did. There's no reason Westbrook shouldn't actually attack the basket every single time because nobody could guard him. He should never have to shoot a three-pointer to where anybody even calls you Westbrook because nobody can guard. I wish they would like just do that instead because they're making $40+ million a year. So it's hard to feel bad for somebody that's making that kind of money. Just
True, but I guess we can learn something about it. I think that, and this is something that goes with everybody here, even the ones who are checking this out. When you spend too much time on social media, like I am conflicted with this idea because I need social media to do what we do, like do what we do, right? Yeah. With other channels, other projects. I have to be on the internet, but I know it's not helpful for my mental health to see things. So I can imagine, and we have both experienced this.
Absolutely.
Where someone is saying something about you, how it affects you. And we're not making $40 million a year.
Right.
We're not, let's say having tons and tons of people who are relying on us for, they do, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same compared, like they're companies and entities amongst themselves, right? But when someone is writing about you, how do you avoid that? Now, I think Jordan did not have to deal with that, right? Even though Jordan was basically dominating, but he was doing things off the court that nowadays, that would have been I'm sure he's happy he did not have to deal with the social media age.
Jordan wouldn't be Jordan. If Jordan was playing right now, he would obviously be Jordan from a perspective of championships and numbers and things, but he would not be the global icon because Jordan was a rough dude.
Yeah.
Jordan was like degenerate gambler.
Outside stuff.
Like kind of a womanizer a little bit. I think he, kind of a jerk to his teammates, right? He would have been dragged.
A former player would have probably posted or had a post about his experiences. So they didn't have to deal with that, right? So it's easy for I think James Worthy said, all the NBA players do now is shoot threes, tweet, and get tattoos. I thought that was hilarious.
He's not wrong. There's a lot of NBA players that's what they do.
But I think a lot of it is if the social media was available back then, because these the same athletes, type A personalities, they think they're the best ever. They probably were told that since they were, junior high. I'm sure they would have gone down that road and tweeted. And my recommendation, if I knew someone that was starting to be in the league and they were actually going to take it professional, I would say, hey, your Twitter should really just go to your management team or something. Don't use it. Like, don't go on there. Keep it like Tom Brady. He says a funny joke, peace out. I think even when Kobe did a couple of tweets back that he didn't, they were just too focused on what they're doing. And I think that's a bad idea. Like, Kevin Durant should not be on Twitter as often as he does.
He shouldn't. He's so talented.
He's too talented for that, and he cares too much. He doesn't. he says he enjoys Twitter. Like, why? All you do is see how they call you a snake. And right now, you look pretty good because if Kevin Durant was still on that team, I don't think they have a problem winning championship.
Oh
Because,
no! If he didn't
I mean?
leave, they would continue to win probably.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But it's like he's on there, he's going back and forth with Stephen A. Smith, and it's like you have to have other things going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's what I would do. Like if we get to a point where I'm so busy, I'm running around and stuff, would I be on social media as often? Probably not, because the more you do, the more people go out and criticize. And some people, criticism is cool, but some it just gets way out of the next level stuff.
It's hard though not to look at it sometimes. We're humans, right? Like we want to see what people think. We want affirmation. We want people to like us. Like I think some people are built like that. Others aren't, but some are. And I think some basketball players are and others aren't. I look at somebody like Giannis. I don't think he cares. He's got his brothers, his family, his kids. He's trying to win championships. That's his life. He's not a flashy dude. I think KD's a little different. James Harden, they're in the club. They're with strippers. They're with porn stars. They're doing this. They're doing that. They're on Twitter. It's a different lifestyle. It's a different, and they want to know what everybody's got going on. What Stephen A. saying about me today. I imagine, what is Draymond thinking about? Is he reading what people are saying about him today? Because he got dragged all day. Draymond had a horrible game. He got dragged. And I know he's got an opinion about it. He even said he had a bad game. So how much does he look into that? And is it going to mess him up for the next game, or is it going to motivate him? I don't know, right? But I think, we're all guilty of that on some level, I think so.
I always admired LeBron when at the beginning of every playoff game, he will, I forgot the term he used, but he will stop using social media. Like, okay, playoff time, let me focus. I think a lot of athletes and a lot of us, sometimes we need to focus on something important in our lives. We really should not be on social media as often. Like I said, I guess I have to find ways to still gather news and information, especially as we do this, in a way where you don't, because that's the problem with the social media, the way the apps are conditioning you. They put news to get you to have an emotional reaction, to put something that gets you either upset. A lot of it's upset. They want you to keep looking. They want you to go in the comments. They want you to argue in the comments. And they know that. Obviously, Nick Wright knows that. We didn't go into Nick Wright, but man, he sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of Nick Wright.
I've seen him. I've seen some stuff on maybe TikTok from him or something, but I know of him, but I don't watch his show. I couldn't tell you what channel he's on. I don't know a lot about Nick Wright and where he stands.
He comes on before Skip and Shannon, so he's on Fox Sports with some other Chris Broussard. I don't know if he jumps in both channels, but if you want to really get good, and I guess we can just talk about, if you want to get really good basketball content, it's all on YouTube. Some of these really fantastic creators, they break things down. They don't have to necessarily have the name calling. Like a lot of this breakdown, and because they put time in, their content. A lot of you don't even see their face. It's just explaining, what happened in this situation, what happened in that situation.
Yeah,
that's where it is, where people are putting really good effort and being really honest with it, and not necessarily saying clickbaity, viral video type stuff about how this guy's a bum. And they'll say, hey, I saw a really good one about Carmelo Anthony, why it didn't work out in New York, and it's put it's kind of like a documentary type style, and you kind of understand their point of view because every documentary has a narrative. Like, okay, I can see why those things happen, to why this happened, that result where, Carmelo Anthony did not win a championship in New York. So there's a way of doing it to be entertaining, but I still catch the clip. So what can I say?
Yeah. It's hard not to watch it sometimes because that's what's pushed out too, right? That's what that's what's popular, and that's what the algorithm's going to like, is people are watching it, and it's hard to cipher through and find the good stuff. But you bring up a good point. A lot of the good analytic stuff and the reporting or the opinions is from the smaller channels or smaller outlets or whatnot. So
yeah, a good point, Bobby. Black holes don't win championships. Yeah, I mean that's Carmelo. That's literally Carmelo Anthony. Like, that ball's gonna go to him and ain't coming back out.
Yeah, but Carmelo was a beast with the Knicks. We forget how good he was.
Yeah. I mean, they made it at least a respectable team. And Amari came first, and he was almost an MVP kind of candidate. Like, he was just, then Carmelo came, and then he got hurt, and then Jeremy Lin. I mean, I could talk about this all day about Jeremy Lin. but things didn't work out clearly. But we have a decent team. It's still underperformed, but with the Brooklyn Nets, I have 3 sensitive men. That sounded weird. 3 sensitive men, and I got the Kyrie, sage burning. This basketball's not important to me. I'm like, that's great. That's something you want to hear from Sue Sorry. You want to give him a max contract.
From a guy that's that talented. He's probably Kyrie Irving. If you look at just talent, what he can do on a court, talent-wise, shooting, dribbling, all the facets. There's not many more guys talent.
He's a magician or a wizard or something.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Maybe the earth is flat because his way of understanding how to play.
Let's not go too far. We might lose some people here. Let's at least get to 10 episodes before.
Before we get to you guys are spreading some kind of dark information. But he doesn't. He said this. Basketball is not my life. I'm like, it is. Because you put all your 10,000 hours of work into this craft. I'm not saying that's all you are, but to say it's not a big part of my life doesn't make a lot of sense. Then I got KD that wants to be on Twitter, but he still plays pretty well at a high level. So it's like, all right, man, that's just who you are. And then I got Ben Simmons. Now, I want to talk about this a long time ago, but I'll go real quick because I want to talk about the album between, Pusha T and Kendrick. But I feel like Ben Simmons is still a very accomplished basketball player. And obviously, we don't know exactly what he's going through because he's not talking. And I don't like that about certain athletes. Like even with Cap, speak.
Yes.
I want to hear from you. What do you think? Not all your other folks are talking. What's going on? And he hasn't done that. So we all speculating. Does he have some PS, post-traumatic stress because of what happened in Philly? Is his back really messed up that he couldn't help in the playoffs? Did he quit on his team? The Nets had some questions about that. And we really trashed him for quitting. Because you can say he quit, right? I feel like other athletes, like Simone Biles that happened in the Olympics, Naomi Nagasaka, tennis player, they quit matches. Simone Biles, she quit a team event. It wasn't an individual. She quit. She was like, "Yeah, I got the twisties. You guys will do great." She put on a jacket, and they had the silver medal, but they probably should have had gold. But we respect them for taking their mental health first. We respect them for not, it's not just play, dribble, shove, and dribble. What if Ben Simmons is actually going through that, and we just trashed him? And maybe because he's a man, and I know we pretend that, men and women, we kind of make it seem like we all kind of look at him the same. Mm-hmm. But we don't clearly with Ben Simmons. What happened, bro? You quit. You quit.
You said it yourself in the beginning. The difference between him and Simone Biles and the tennis player, Naomi, those young women spoke. They got up in front of a microphone and talked about it. Ben Simmons hasn't done that. Yeah. So that's the difference, right? I think if Ben Simmons would say, "Hey, my back is hurt. It's really, really hurt. Philly was tough. I'm looking at my longevity. I'm looking at this. Taking the doctors, whatever." And you would get in front of it and actually have some conversations. I'm not ready mentally to play yet, but I'm working. I think we wouldn't have made a big deal about it. But because he just sits there, he's got his Gucci on, he's got his big chain. He's smiling, he's cracking jokes, and it's like he looks like he's got no worries, which he shouldn't because he's making a ton of money and he's a young dude. He shouldn't have a lot of worries. But I think Philly screwed him up a little bit. I think a lot of people talk about how he can't shoot. That's why he doesn't. I think he's got a lot of pressure. He's not from here. He's from Australia, right? I think he's from Australia, so his mind might not be. It's different culturally. There might be some differences there. I don't know, but if he would get in front of it like Simone Biles did, I think it would be viewed upon a little bit different.
Yeah, so, I think that's you got it right. I think he needs to express himself. Maybe he's not ready to do that, but I think that's what's going to happen. He is needed in Brooklyn. They're not going to win without him.
No, they won't.
At least got to play defense, pass the ball. Just that's what you got to do. Pass the ball. We don't necessarily need you to shoot, but you can still finish. You're still young.
You need Simmons to score 12 to 15 points a game.
Yeah, that's all you need.
8 to 10 assists, 8 to 10 rebounds, right? And that's all you need because you got KD's going to get 30. Kyrie's going to get 25, 26 on average.
He may jump it. He may he get 40 or 50.
But on average, Kyrie will get 25, 26. KD's going to be the main guy. But yeah, they just need Ben Simmons to play defense and distribute the ball, be a big body, right? Yeah. Defensively, he's a phenomenal talent. I think Philly got him. Philly's a tough place to play, bro. I think Philly got him up here a little bit, and I think he hasn't bounced back from that yet. So
hopefully he does. Hopefully he finds like the right support, because it is a lot of mental. And it'd be nice if he actually rebounds from this and plays really well next season. And I would like to know like what happened, like what was because what he's going through. Obviously, like I say, he's still being taken care of. He's not going to be out in the street. But I feel like so many people, especially men, that are having some issues with either, it could be lots of different reasons. Just having things not going well. Dealing with social media and looking at things and just feeling terrible. To comparing yourself to other people that they may seem successful. It's a lot to deal with, especially with these athletes. So I always say, like, Skip Bayless sucks for the most part. He's a little annoying. The one thing he does is I look at it as a good idea. He says he never looks at his mentions on Twitter. He doesn't look at it. He tweets. He has no idea what the hell anyone's thinking. He said he tried it a while ago, like years ago. He realized it messed with him. He does not look at his mentions. And I think Stephen A. does look at his mentions, obviously, because he's always going back and forth. But
sure,
Skip was like, I know myself. I'm not going to look. And I think that's obviously has worked out for him.
Yeah, I think you got to know yourself and what you're willing to take and how you take things and how I think we're all different. But Skip Bayless is like, I don't know. I think extra. He's extra, man. But they're all kind of extra in their own way. They're a personality. For me, it's like wrestling. They're like just entertainers. They're just and then now we got these previous athletes that are still playing or just got done playing, and now they're kind of. I feel like they're doing Stephen A's, Skip's, Nick Wright. They're doing their jobs better in some ways because, and I think the audience is seeing that. Like, hold up, JJ Redick's maybe a little bit better. Jalen Rose might be a little bit better than Stephen A because it's not just the antics. It's not, Stephen A talks loud and is expressive because that's what he does. These other guys are going to talk and they're going to bring their actual point, right? So. I think it's interesting. I think like I said in the beginning, I think we need both because they do complement each other. There's pros and cons on both sides, but Skip is a clown though. I've never been a fan of Skip. I thought when Jalen Rose put him in his place, what was that, like 15 years ago?
Yeah, a while ago. That was back in the first take over there, or Cold Pizza, like one of those debate shows.
He was on First Take. It's when Skip Bayless and Stephen A were on the show, and Jalen came on. This might have been like 2008, 2009. I don't know, but. He called him Pistol Pete. No, he called him Water Gun Pete or something like that. Because he was, Skip used to play and he was good in high school, but then he averaged like 1 point. And Jalen just buried him. And I don't think then he got off First Take and Skip's doing his thing, but like he hasn't been the same.
It's your approach to communicating about people, and when you got able to take it because you dished it out. So that
for sure.
Before I didn't realize we went so far ahead with the basketball talk. Let's just jump into the topic of the best hip hop album of 2022 so far, because it's been 6 months in. And one of the articles that we popped up, or at least what I was looking at, Pusha T. And Pusha T was basically claiming that his album that came out, It's Almost Dry, is the album of the year. And he said this very recently. He didn't say this like before, other albums came out. He said, I think at least maybe last week. Mm-hmm. And the question is that I have is, because right now there's a few albums. Actually, I'm gonna send you a list, Pedro. Some other albums that you may actually enjoy. I haven't listened to them yet, but Pusha T, it's really the two main albums to me. It's Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the High Steppers, and It's Almost Dry. Mm-hmm. My thoughts, I think Kendrick Lamar is going to probably win like the more critical awards.
He's probably going to win a Grammy. I think he's going to win a Grammy at this point.
Yeah, Grammys.
The issue is you got Post Malone's going to drop an album, and if they put Post Malone in there,
I didn't even listen to it. I heard
if they put him in the rap, you know how that works.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He might get it, but Kendrick should probably get it. I think he will.
So I think that's where I think that's where they're gonna probably go. But me personally, and this may surprise you, I've listened to the Pusha T's album way more than Kendrick's, even though I think Pusha's came out earlier.
A couple weeks, a few weeks earlier.
I don't understand it for me. Well, I guess I'm gonna tell you a little bit about myself. I like listening to people talk about selling drugs.
And that's all. Okay, hold on. Let me stop before you go. Every album for Pusha T is the same. Okay, he talks about coke, drugs, islands, boats, hoes, money. Yeah, like
absolutely.
His connect, his plug. That every single song, Brambleton from the beginning of I'm looking at here, Diet Coke. Hey, it's a banger. I've listened to the album probably 4 or 5 times, but every song, and he actually said this. He said he knows his albums are the same, and he makes his music for a certain demographic. So he's winning in that way. I mean, and his flow is fantastic. So I can't argue with that.
But that's the talent, right? Like how I think he'd been talking about pushing coke since I was in high school. Like how it's been a minute.
Yeah, he had those clips, right? Him and his
and he's able to continue to talk about the same topic. Like imagine us, like we creators and YouTube creators, and I don't know if it's a common theme now. We're not going to discuss in detail, but everyone's getting tired of talking about the same stuff. Pusha T was like, imagine he had a YouTube channel and he went 20 years posting videos about the same thing, and he has done it, and at a high level. Actually, his last 2 albums, high level, because he, obviously he's with Kanye, and that's the reason. That's probably the biggest reason why I think I like Pusha T's album. He has like the 2 best producers that I enjoy. He got Pharrell in there, and he got Kanye making equal parts of the album with the the beats that work for him.
Yeah.
So you remember? I mean that song is so cold, and it's just. I mean, it's more. Maybe that's more commercial than Mr. Morale. It's not as important.
I don't know if it's more commercial. I mean, I don't think you're going to hear a lot of Pusha T on. I don't know.
It depends on the region. Probably definitely depends on where you are.
Region. I think you'll hear more Pusha T and maybe some clubs and stuff like that. But I think Kendrick you'll hear more maybe on a radio station. I don't know. That's a good one. I don't think I've heard Pusha T on my local radio station, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
But so that's my pick. Now again.
Hold on. Are you saying? Hold on. Let me stop the presses here. Hold on. We got Bud Soda and Hector are all listening. Pull my gig. All right. So I'm gonna repeat what Hannibal just said. I think he's saying the Pusha T album is better than the Kendrick Lamar album. Is that what you're saying?
That sounds like I'm like a basic bitch here. But yes, I have enjoyed that album more.
Okay, you enjoy it more, or you think it's a better album? For me, that's 2 different things. Or both. Do you enjoy it and you think it's better?
Okay, you know what? Yeah, I think Pusha T's album is better.
I gotta go. I'm out of here, bro.
You put Kanye's production in there, and then Pharrell's. Now maybe he didn't have those 2 to guide it. I don't know. I feel like Kendrick's album is more important. It's actually, I think he's trying to do something. Like he's expressed himself. Pusha's not expressing himself at all. I don't think last time, as much as he's talked about selling, did he ever sell anything? He's been richer than longer than I've been.
I have no idea. With hip hop, I think we gotta understand. Some of these guys came, they're from the streets or from the hood. They sold some dope on it, but some of them don't.
All time stuff.
Who really knows? Is he selling like did he have the life that he had that he's portraying in this? Absolutely not. But he understands. He's speaking to a certain audience. He's speaking to the dope boys. He's speaking to the guys that like that kind of music and like to pump it in their car. Like Kendrick's speaking to people on a different level. So for me, I like that. I mean, you were the one that sent me that album. The Pusha T said, "Hey, you got a new Pusha T album." And I remember, going on walks around the neighborhood, listening to it, and the beats are good. His flows, it gets you. It's a whole nother vibe, right?
Yeah.
Compared to Kendrick Lamar, but to me, I mean, it's not even close. Like this
is an interesting comment.
Yeah,
Pusha T is just another black rapper. I don't know about all that. Like, sheesh. I mean, Pusha T, I mean, as long as I think he's the president of the Good Music. Like he's, executive but yeah, I think he knows what his audience is, and he doesn't try to move away. Where I think obviously Kendrick's a better rapper.
Sure.
But it's going to be more important to the culture than Pusha T. I think Pusha T, even one of his songs, he wish he had the fans J. Cole has. But J. Cole is a little bit more diverse. He could talk about many things. Like no one's going to ever put Pusha T on their top 5. I'm not suggesting that.
No.
But I'm just saying in terms of, I don't know, maybe think, you know what? Probably why Pusha T keeps things to me like it's back to normal. Like it's a normalization, right?
Okay. Yeah. It's not too heavy. It's not always serious. It's not always. Yeah. So
I'm putting Pusha T on, and it's like just like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
He's going to sell drugs and shoot people, and then or get other people to shoot people, and he's going to take women to Brazil, and he's going to have sex with them. And I'm like, this is the kind of normalcy that I would enjoy.
Okay, hold on. So that's not normal. I can't relate to that. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Right. Neither can you. So like, come on.
Wait. Hold on a second. You stare like you look at me and all right. I know you look at me and think, oh, Hannibal, he's been to jail a few times. I'll tell you right now, Pedro. I have never been in jail. I've never been in trouble. I know you look at me like, look at this gangster ass dude. I am not that person. So
I've been in jail. I say that, but I'm not selling coke and taking Brazilian models to my island and listening to watching Scarface all day. Like that's why I like Kendrick. It's just different. It's kind of I'm a big Nas fan, right? So like Kendrick is in that same kind of vein to me in some ways, and like Pusha T is more like I don't know, somebody. It's just different. He's more. It's more club music, so it's just whatever flavor you like for that moment. But definitely like the Kendrick Lamar album more. I've listened to that one more, and I've listened to both of them a decent amount, but I've definitely listened to the Kendrick album more. So
this is definitely a minority opinion. So I definitely not like. We're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna send you like of some other because Tyler Quali and Mos Def made an album. Now the problem is it's only for their podcast platform Luminary, which you have to pay for, which kind of gets you a point like, okay, how you get access to it. But I'm like, I can't wait because I love a Black Star. I mean, that's one of the greatest.
Absolutely.
So I may have to at least try to get 1 month so I can listen to it to see if it's just as good as the stuff they did before.
Yeah.
But I say I think what's going to happen is Kendrick's going to win best rap album. I don't foresee another album coming in the next couple months that's going to top what he has. It's really important. I think a lot of people should just listen to it.
Absolutely.
You're learning something. There's way more substance with the Pusha T stuff. Pusha T could have won if he was in a different year, but as long as J. Cole's going to drop in 1 year and Kendrick, and if they just keep,
he's not going to win.
It's hard to kind of jump into that. So, Hector Mello says, Hannibal, no respect for J. Oh, I love J. Cole now. Now his last album, I still listen to it to this day.
It's a great album.
For me, he seemed like he balanced the substance with the kind of music that you could put on the radio. Like he has a perfect balance. So it's just like Nas or Jay-Z, where they know how to craft music where everyone can get into it. You got the athletes who love it, obviously, other entertainers. We can all enjoy J. Cole. I know some people call him boring. To each his own. I mean, I'm not gonna I don't see how you can consider him boring. But again, like you said, those are probably Pusha T fans.
It depends because you got like you mentioned athletes and people like a lot of the athletes. If you ask them who they like, they're not going to mention Kendrick or J. Cole. They'll probably mention Future, Little Baby, The Baby. They're gonna Young. What's it? I forget the other guy from
Young Everything, man.
Little Dirk. Like they're gonna mention that. They're gonna mention those kind of dudes, and they make different kind of music than the J. Coles and the Kendricks. And they're gonna mention Drake. I mean, everybody. Drake. It is what it is, right? But it just depends on what I think you're. If you're warming up to play a basketball game, do you want to listen to Kendrick Lamar? Probably not. You probably want to listen to something that's going to get you a little hype. Right, you're going to listen to something else. So it just depends on the mood that you're in, I think, which is great about hip hop because there's so many different types different types of albums and artists within this genre. So, if I'm going on a walk with my kid, I'm going to listen to a little Kendrick, maybe a little Nas, right? If I'm going for a run, maybe I'm listening to something different. I'm listening to Pusha T. I'm listening to some old Busta Rhymes or some DMX or something, right? Because I'm getting a little hype. It's a little bit different. So
Yeah,
that's what's good about hip hop, in my opinion.
it's a little bit for everything. That's why we're gonna talk about a lot on this platform here. We're gonna talk about a little bit more of everything. We may do some top 5 lists. We may argue about best producers. I've said in the last episode that I think I think Kanye West will eventually be the greatest producer who ever lived for rap music, and that's a very bold, crazy statement. But he's bold and crazy, so I'm gonna bet on Kanye. You know what I mean? Like he's bold and ambitious, and he thinks he could change the world. So that's where I'm going to go. But people put in the chat, been putting some really good suggestions. Tech Nine is fantastic.
Tech Nine, he's from Kansas City, man. He's like only 4 hours away from me. Tech Nine is unbelievable. Independent. He's independent. He's good.
Yeah, making tons of money, just doing it all by himself.
Yeah.
Immortal Technique, obviously Papoose, fantastic.
Oh, Immortal Technique, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of deep dive in a lot of them. I mean, we're not necessarily gonna be talking about Kodak Black, unless you want us to, because I got that video I showed Paige a couple of where we'll talk about it next week, but it was the most weirdest interview I've ever seen of Kodak Black. Kodak Black is a guy clearly tweaking on all types of medication,
all kinds of stuff, man,
perks and all that stuff. And that's another weird thing about hip hop now, where it's a lot of pill popping involved, where I don't know if that was happening in the 90s. Like we like you talked about crack, right?
I think 90s. They're smoking.
You were talking about it, you rap, you wouldn't talk. You wouldn't.
Nah, they're smoking. They're smoking some La or something like that.
Yeah.
But they're doing maybe a little line of coke or something like that. Maybe. They're not popping. They're not popping pit. Like it's different.
Yeah. Like I don't know if you were a big fan of Juice WRLD, but that guy was immensely talented.
I know Juice WRLD, but I didn't get into his music. I couldn't tell you any of that.
I don't know if you get a second chance to check it out. Now, it's definitely emotional, kind of. He's in his bag. He was in his bag a lot, but the guy could write songs. The guy could rap, and the dude just decided, had. I guess he got caught trafficking drugs on a plane.
No, he was going. I think he was on a plane, and he swallowed some drugs that he didn't know. He didn't want to get in trouble, and then he wound up overdosing. Is what I heard.
Yeah, so it's like that generation where I think mental health is a problem. I think that's how we are. You can tell how the music has kind of changed in that aspect, where at least like Kid Cudi kind of was talking about depression, and you have like Travis Scott, like it kind of came into it, but how they're handling it is like they're making lots of money, but they're putting these things in their body. And we can go to stats where so many overdoses are happening across the country.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And that's another thing we're going to be kind of breaking down a little bit on this platform. We're going to talk a little bit about those type of things because they're real and they actually are happening. But obviously we're going to keep it light, obviously. But, wow.
We'll get into some of that. We'll get into some of that important stuff here and there, that happens because I think it's important to at least speak on it and share perspective, Lil Wayne and Kodak had their own podcast. Oh, Lord.
It'll be some incoherent.
We forget about Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne he's a GOAT for a lot of people, actually. He's in a lot of people's top. I mean, he had a run.
Kendrick has a lot of great things to say about Lil Wayne.
He had a run 4 or 5 years where he was dropping some albums, like Carter albums. I mean, he was on top of the game for a while. Like,
definitely. I mean, mental health is rampant in our world today, but hopefully we can at least talk about it and at least have, not to say strategies, because we're not therapists, but at least we can kind of talk about it where, you're not alone. We all kind of deal with it, especially coming out of the last 2 years. Yeah. It's been crazy, but, we out here, we, still working hard, still taking care of families and, still have a mission, a purpose. That's what it's all about. So that's kind of what this podcast is all about. Now we're about to hit an hour. I'll ask you right now, what do you think about this first show, Major? What do you think?
Well, I have to reconsider our friendship and this podcast because you said that a Pusha T album was better than the Kendrick Lamar. So
come on, I'm skipping your Shannon. I'm Stephen A. and your JJ Reg. Like I'm gonna say some outrageous things, and hopefully it'll get some traction.
No, listen, man, this has been great. Me and you we could probably talk all day, right? Like literally, I think we could sit here and just ramble and have great conversations and disagree and agree and learn from each other. So this has been great, man. I've been looking forward to this since you brought it up 7 months ago or something. Back in before the new year. So this has been something for you guys watching the replay. We've been talking about this for a while. And it's like I call it a passion project for us, because we're passionate about these things. And both of us are content creators doing other kind of content, which we like, and we make money doing that kind of work. But this is who we are in a lot of ways. Basketball, hip hop, we're dads. We like to talk about mental health and our history, our relationships, and so this has been great, man. I think it was a great start, and I think it's really cool. A lot of people came in on the first show. So
yes. Everyone who decided to jump in, thank you very much. If you like what you heard, hit subscribe. We're going to be here every Wednesday at 10. Now, we didn't discuss how we were going to do it. At first, we thought, all right, we go live, or maybe we record and premiere it. I guess we'll figure that out. Either way, we're going to be here. We're going to be here every week, having different types of topics. So, if you like what you hear, obviously you want to share it as well.
Hit the thumbs up. Hey guys, listen, I'm a thumbs up. I never have a problem asking for a thumbs up. If you like the content, hit the thumbs up. That's what helps the YouTube algorithm. It helps us out. We appreciate y'all. This is fun. We're only scratching the surface here. So continue to rock with us, and we'll give you guys some interesting topics, and we'll laugh and we'll cry, and I'll look at Hannibal like he's crazy sometimes, and that's going to be what it is. So
like today. But on that note, we're gonna get out of here. I know it's getting a little late for you guys. I appreciate everyone that came in. Really, really appreciate it, because it's just like starting a whole new thing. Like in that channel, when they went over 100 subscribers, it's kind of like when my channel went. You just like, oh, this is great. So thank you guys for even checking it out. And on that note, guys, we'll be back. All right. So don't worry. No more teasers, none of that type of stuff. We will be here every single week. So thank you guys, and have a fantastic night.